Hello, everyone. What's going on? I'm tremendously excited to let you all know that Joshua is going to be here with me, and we're going to be bringing up to the table a very interesting topic, which is about some of the situations that we experienced back in the past when it came to resolving issues, troubleshooting, and handling phone calls and helping those customers that don't want to help you, handling difficult phone calls, and so much more. So please make sure to stick around and make sure to be here with us until the end of the video so you enjoy it. Right? So without further ado, let me go ahead and get started.
So, Manuel, we are here. We're finally here.
You're back. So some people were asking me about you, and you were
Yeah,
kind of
yeah,
missing in
man.
action, but thankfully
I
you're
was
back.
missing in action, in fact.
Okay, so what is the topic that we're gonna be covering today? You wanna tell us?
Man, I was mulling over the idea of certain cases that I have troubleshooting in the past. So, that's an interesting topic to discuss right now, man.
Absolutely.
So, I had some issues before, and I would like to bring this up to the table. So I remember, this is an expression that I would like to discuss first. I remember in one of my experience when I was helping some customers in Trinidad and Tobago.
Okay, tell us about it.
So yeah, it was a problem with the IP, and apparently I was able to resolve the issue. But out of the blue, the person in charge of the department um, said something really weird to me. I haven't heard that expression before. The expression was, Joshua, unfortunately, this is not out of the woods. And I was like, what? This is not out of the woods. So what does it mean, man? Not out of the woods. That's an idiom, man.
That is an idiom, yeah. But
Uh,
but tell us more about the situation, okay?
okay, the situation was that there was a problem with the IP. The
Uh
problem
huh.
apparently wasn't communicating properly, and I pinged the IP,
Uh
and I
huh.
was able to receive some communication from the IP. Okay, it was pinging.
Okay.
So obviously, I told her that the IP was communicating and the problem was resolved. So, and she told me, Joshua, no, unfortunately, this is not out of the woods. In other words, the problem has not been solved yet.
It wasn't resolved.
Yeah,
Or in other words, you would say something like, "We are not getting anywhere with this."
exactly, man.
That's pretty interesting. I remember the first time I saw this verb to commission and to decommission.
Oh, okay. Tell me about it. Tell
Yeah,
me about it,
I
man.
mean, my first impression was that when you want to, let's say, install something, the only verb that I was used to using at that point
Mm-hmm.
was to install something. But when I was talking to somebody from the Caribbean, they used this verb to commission something, and I was like, okay, commission. I thought of something like money or something like that because
Yeah.
commission, like a commission, but I was totally wrong at that point. Then I realized that commission means to install something. When
Install
talking
something.
about devices, of course, and to decommission is to uninstall something, to remove something or uninstall something. So I learned those two verbs, talking to people over the phone. They taught me that verb. I didn't know it at that point. Now I do, of course. And so you can remember that verb, guys. To
Okay.
decommission and commission.
Oh, that's good.
Any other anecdote that you want to tell us about, or anything that you might recall at this moment?
Yeah, man. I also remember one day when I was helping another customer through the telephone,
Mm-hmm.
and the problem was with that controller.
Okay.
Controller wasn't responding, and she used another useful expression, iron out. That's a
Hmm.
phrasal verb, to
Phrasal
iron
verb.
out. And of course, she used another noun that I haven't heard before, kinks.
Kinks.
So the expression was, I was ironing out some kinks.
Hmm.
Man, that totally blew my mind.
You get my gap smacked.
Yeah, man.
So in that case, it means like to resolve some small things or some little issues, or to straighten out some issues.
Mm-hmm.
To straighten out. That's another important phrasal verb. To straighten out, to iron out some kinks. I actually learned that one, talking to customers over the phone.
Okay.
Most technicians, they use very, like, let's say, unusual terms, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you talk to them, they normally use like some words, expressions, and verbs that you are probably not used to hearing, right?
Yeah, man.
I think I did talk about it a little bit in a previous video when I was talking to somebody from Jamaica. He was a technician, and actually, that guy also taught me like some interesting words. And I was like, so, whenever you are talking to a customer over the phone, you may feel like you know everything. I mean, of course, when those people are native English speakers, they always have something new to teach you, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I remember that day, that person used this verb that I just mentioned, or phrasal verb indeed, which is straighten out. I didn't know it honestly, and that person used the expression, okay, at this moment I'm trying to straighten out some little issues over here, and I was like, straighten out. I mean, I did understand the context, but it was not in my active repertoire or my active vocabulary. So you always learn a lot of new words and expressions from them.
Yeah, man. Man, I also remember one day when we were migrating a database.
Mm-hmm.
So everything was doing okay at the moment, but apparently in our end, because in the Jamaica's end, the problem, uh, it, there was a lot of troubles, man. There was a lot of issues with the database, the script, and something like that. So I remembered that the technician told me, man, this doesn't work. We need to roll it back.
Mm-hmm.
To roll back. And I was agreeing hard. I wasn't sure what that mean at the moment, man.
To roll back.
To roll back.
To roll back. In that case, roll back, as far as I understand, roll back is when you try to, let's say, when something like goes down and you try to recover it, or when something fails and you have, or you work to get it back to normal, right?
Exactly, man. Exactly.
To roll back. I also understand that probably when you are using, let's say, a computer program, and when that computer program goes down, you try to roll it back. It means that you work or you review everything regarding the programming, so you can get it back to normal, right?
Mm-hmm.
To roll back. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of that verb, phrasal verb indeed.
Phrasal verb.
That's a pretty interesting verb. I also remember another one, which is up chunk.
Up chunk.
Turns out that I was on a phone call with a customer. It was a tech support phone call, and I had to, as part of my tasks, I had to resolve issues. When it came to people using computers and computer programs, and there was this customer. He was attempting to access a computer program, so he called me, and he was like, "Okay, I'm trying to access this computer program right now, and it totally upchunked." And I was like, "What did you just say?" It totally upchunked. And I even asked the third time, "What did you just say?" It totally upchunked. Guys, I gotta be honest, I was at a loss. I didn't understand that verb. Mm-hmm. I didn't understand it because I didn't know it. I had to be humble enough so as to ask the customer, "Okay, I want you to explain to me, what do you mean by upchunk?" So he was so humble, he was so kind, and he was like, "Okay, upchunk means to freeze or freeze up or freeze out. Yeah, when a computer program freezes." Mm-hmm. It was a pretty interesting word for me because I didn't know it. To upchunk.
Yeah, man. Well, guys, that was pretty much all for today. I hope you liked it. I hope you enjoyed it. Please subscribe and hit the like button, man.
Okay, guys, I'm so excited to be one more time with Joshua.
Yeah.
It was a long time without recording with him. So make sure to hit the like button, as Joshua said. And if you're new here, don't forget to hit the sub button, and see you back in the next video. Goodbye.
See you later.